I was born December 4th, 1906, at Cornell University. I recognized the need to help correct the educational, economic, political, and social injustices faced by African Americans. They call me Alpha, Phi Alpha.
My dad was a farmer by trade. He got finished the ninth grade, but in when he was about 25 years old, he was called into the ministry, and he was a God sent man, and he loved people, he loved God, he loved and he loved family, and he instilled in me to be honest, be faithful and true to not only to myself, but to my wife, my children, my family, and that's he and my mom was very influential in my upbringing.
But my parents were there for me. And scholarship, as I mentioned before, one of the aims of our fraternity is something that my parents really emphasize. My father used to say, I may not leave you a lot of wealth, but I'm going to get you educated. And he not only put his resource into doing this, but he was also inspirational on who he became without going to college. And he said, you don't have to go to college to become good. You know, whatever your talent is, as much as you can do, do that. So my father was very thrifty. Uh, he made it known that he didn't want to waste anything, including resource. So he encouraged us to use our resources well. He's also very keen on telling us not to get into debt. He did not like debt at all, no debt. As a matter of fact, you should live below your means. To succeed, you have to live below your means, and you have to know that there are things that you wish for which you may not be able to own. Therefore, wait till you can own it. You will do better that way.
Well, I can remember as early as spring 1985, when I was still a Sphinxman online at the University of Oklahoma, and one of our tasks, so to speak, was to come to Oklahoma City and meet a alumni brother with Beta Eta Lambda chapter. And that brother was, I forgot his first name. I think it was James Jenkins. He was the historian of the Beta Eta Lambda at the time, and he shared so much wisdom, so much history, and knowledge about Alpha, about the fraternity, about the chapter, and what the fraternity is about and what it means. And here again, that's what really got me. He just really imparted a lot of knowledge about Alpha, and I think not only did I get a lot from that, but like you were saying before, I think he got a lot from it, especially a lot of our senior brothers, our brothers that are homebound now, not able to get out, and they're looking at wanting to have some fellowship, some fraternal fellowship with brothers, and just to talk and just share old war stories. And that's what we're needing. That's what we're trying to capture. That's what we were trying to capture with the Veterans Day program. And so even with that, going back to the Veterans Day program, how that's been is that the speakers who normally speak now, we're bringing them into the schools, the programs that have junior ROTC programs that actually do the color guard for us on the ceremonies. And we have what is called we call it a lunch and learn, where the speaker can sit down with those cadets and share in a more intimate setting about their history, about questions that cadets might have, and it's just an awesome experience. And so it's a reciprocal thing for both the speaker and the recipients or the students.
Many people know that this whole project started with a line brother of mine that has early Alzheimer's, and his wife reached out for help with her son, and in researching organizations that might help her son, found out that one, there was a real void in this middle school area, And then found out that there was a program similar to what I thought might be needed that was being led by another Alpha brother, but it didn't operate in the northeast side of Oklahoma City. So we gathered ideas from Whiz Kids and several other programs and started from a blank page this institute to save some of our middle school boys. That's how it got started. I came back and presented it to our foundation board like in June and said, not only would I like to do this, I'd like to start it in August. And they really looked at me and some said, are you crazy? And I came back the next meeting with a more detailed plan. And they said, if you're willing to try it, we are. And at the time that we started, I don't think we had a dime. But after about a month of that, 3,000 here, 5,000 here, 7,000 there, and then we were off and running. We're in our third year now. Just a lot of nice effort by the brothers, and we've partnered with our college brothers, so we've had some help from the OU brothers, Zeta, and Zeta Sigma is very involved now, in helping us. And we've seen some kids we now have in the third year.
If you're talking about the Institute, I think what we provide for them is wonderful because we show them right there in their eyes and their face what they could become. And we have outstanding alpha men who interact with these boys, and hopefully the boys will see what they can become in these men. Not all of us are lucky to have fathers and mothers that participate in our lives.
I have been extremely blessed to have a father in my life, to not just be there but be active in my upbringing and making me into the man I am today. My father, Anthony Mack, have been married to my mother over 40 years, and he really laid the foundation for me to be a father to my current 2-year-old son and to my future twins that are coming next year. And so when I take the principles that my father instilled in me and combine those with what Alpha has instilled in me in the brotherhood, I have no choice but to help these young men that may not have a consistent father figure, if a father figure at all in their life. So it's important for myself and other alpha men in the community to assume that role to these young men and be consistent about it. That's one of the things about the Alpha Boys Institute. We got over 60 young men in that program, and we have many on a waiting list. So a lot of them do have father figures, but some of them do not, or not a consistent one. So that advice that we provide them is what they need, from simple things to how do you tie a tie, or how do you ask a young lady on a date. Being a part of the Alpha Boys Institute and allowing these young men to see positive men of all walks of life, from young to seasoned, from teachers to doctors, lawyers, and businessmen. That variety is what they can see to say, yes, this is what you can do, this is what you can be. We went through college, we can advise you on that, and we can even provide you financial assistance to go into these career fields. You can shadow us, and we will help you every step of the way to get you to where you need to be.
But I recognize, and I've seen children with malformation who can still be productive if they are able to receive the proper care and attention. So the March of Dimes is very important to me because not all children are going to be born healthy. There are going to be children that, through no fault of theirs, come to this world with a handicap, and we cannot forget our handicapped people. But I can tell you that as I travel the world, the United States is very good at watching out for the handicapped. But until somebody really has a family member or a family child with disability, they would not recognize how important the work that March of Dimes is doing. These are children that have such monumental need for support that cannot be handled by their own immediate family. So they have to have some system that would make their life good and make it as good as it can be.
You go to chapter meetings and you get magazines and you read about these programs, but it wasn't until I attended a national convention when I got a better feel of it. Going to a workshop, listening to people from other parts of the United States involved in the same things, gave me a little more motivation to say, hey, let's go back to Oklahoma City and see what we can get started. So I did that with the March of Dimes. I did that with Project Alpha and several other things. But we started March of Dimes here in Oklahoma City. And first year that I was chair of that, we raised over $3,000. And I found a true connection between the national headquarters of March of Dimes and the national headquarters of Alpha Phi Alpha and how we work together on that.
It's a good thing to participate and involve yourself in something that's going to give back, something that's going to help someone, and something that's going to help you too. And so that's what I say to brothers who need to be reclaimed, is that look at what can you do to, and I guess to put it in the way of John F. Kennedy, ask not what your fraternity can do for you, but what you can do for your fraternity. And you can take fraternity out of that and you can put community in that, state, city in that as well. You know, what can you do to help someone else rather than just always helping yourself? And the fraternity offers that type of value because we have so many programs in the community that we work on. We work with young boys. We work with the March of Dimes. We have worked with Habitat for Humanity and different programs around the city, bogus people, hopeless people, voters registration. And so those types of things, especially in this day and age, when you're involved with someone who has an organized program that's effective and that gives results in the community, then that's something that I would think you want to be a member and be a part of.
Go back to when this all started, why it started. I would say to a brother who's out of the house that needs to come back into the house to look at what can be done with their input. I think when I came into the house, one of the big important things was they told me just to be you. But if I'm not in the room, they have no me in the room. So I think that would be very helpful to just have that brother knowing that he can put his input into the house. And I think that's one of the most important things, and come in and just be him to do what he's more comfortable with, and then spread yourself out.
The brothers that are not active really don't know what they're missing. So the more we're active, they'll see. The more we're active in the community, they'll get some idea of what they're missing. So we have to stay visible in the community. And I don't mean, I don't have to say this, but I don't mean in a braggadocious way, but I mean in a solid way, you know, and people say, well, I wonder who got that done. Well, we don't have to put it on the front page that we did it, but we know how it got done.
I would encourage him to explore and to invest where the chapter, who the leaders are, and see what kind of programs if they're what they are doing, and then if they find something that they are interested in, there's got to be something that they could be interested in doing in the community, because we are a service organization, and I would encourage them to look into that and join the brotherhood and get active in pursuing their interests.
dream I have, the vision I have is we're gonna get some property. And that's what we, as alpha men, should have had it a long time ago as far as I'm concerned. But nevertheless, I see that could come into fruition with this latest wave of brothers that have gotten active with Beta Eta Lambda. I'm so excited about the possibilities that we have. I'm excited about the energy. I'm excited about the potential. I'm excited about the skill sets that a lot of these brothers are bringing to the table. I really am.
One of my dreams and hopes before I leave is to get a fraternity house. We almost had one at one time in my day, but it fell through. We were under the direction of Dr. G.E. Finley, and a fraternity house would be one of my major goals and concerns, if we could do that. Something that we could call our own and be proud of.
Most chapters' goal is to be chapter of the year. Would be a huge achievement. I believe that we're doing a lot of exciting things with the Alpha Boys Institute. I think our Alpha in the Park project is a great deal for the community. I think it can ultimately become something really that other national organizations or chapters may want to adopt. I believe that could be huge. Alphas in the Park National.
I'd like to see us do something kind of like that, but invite the other chapters, other Alpha chapters, and even the outside community, and come to a banquet like that where we present the scholarship recipients and give them scholarships so the whole community sees that we're doing this to help the young people do better, get scholarships and do better in school. I'd like to see something like that.
I've always been an advocate of an Alpha house, a residential house in this area. I know there's some other fraternities in this area in Oklahoma City that have nice facilities. I think Alpha should establish a headquarters, a reception place that is permanent and be open to other guests. That's what I'd like to see.
Well, I know for a fact, and I've seen it coming, and it's a really good thing that I'm seeing, is that we're starting to really grow. And with growth becomes an opportunity for more people to do more things. So that's what I'm looking at. How can we make a bigger impact in the community? What more can we do? And that's where I'm looking at the chapter going. It's great to be chapter of the year and all these different things, but when you're working in the community, making an impact in the community, then you can always win those awards. They come natural. They come as a side effect to doing something big in the community. And that's what I want Alpha to be, is having an impact, being an advocate for what's going on in the community. That's where I want to see Black and Gold.